Hey everyone, this is Johnny and welcome back. Of course, fall is here. We're getting a lot of beautiful colors in the Japanese maple trees, like this Alpenweiss behind me, which has pinky, salmony, orange, and yellow variations throughout. And of course, fall is a fun season for colors of Japanese maple trees, but fall is also the season when you want to go ahead and pick or find the Japanese maple seeds that are either still attached to your tree or that have fallen on the ground, so you can get those ready to germinate in the spring. So in this video, I'm going to talk about when to pick Japanese maple seeds and also the process of cold stratification that needs to be done for them to germinate. So let's go ahead and go to one of my Japanese maple trees and we'll talk about the timing for picking Japanese maple seeds. So in the spring and summer, you'll start seeing these seeds forming and maturing on the tree. However, you have to wait until the fall when these seeds are fully mature to pick them, because if you pick them too early, they won't actually be viable seeds. They have to fully develop until they're ready. And so right around fall or the end of the season, maybe late summer would even be appropriate, but really fall, you want to go to your Japanese maple trees, find these seeds, and collect them then. Now we're going to go ahead and collect these seeds, and then I'll take you through the process and talk about the cold stratification that's necessary for these to actually germinate in the spring. These are the seeds that I'm picking now that we will hopefully see germinate this coming spring. Okay, so I've collected the Japanese maple seeds that I need. Let's now go talk about cold stratification and what's needed for these to germinate in the spring. So in order for Japanese maple seeds to germinate this coming spring, they have to go through a cold process or a cold stratification process. Of course, where I live, it gets cold enough in the winter that naturally happens. Instead of trying to do something fancy like sticking these in a refrigerator and trying to artificially do that, as a lot of people do, I, in my area, like to let nature take care of itself. So in the past, I've actually just let these seeds fall into the mulched areas underneath the tree in my yard and let them sprout, and then I went and dug those up in the spring. I'm going to do this year a process where I just take a wood tray like this. I'm going to put potting soil in it, and then I'm just going to go ahead and sprinkle these seeds on the top and then put just a thin layer of soil on the top. Let this sit out all winter, and this coming spring I should be able to collect a lot of Japanese maple seedlings from this tray. And when it comes to seed preparations, I'm not going to do anything fancy. I'm actually just going to let the seeds as they are germinate naturally, and I don't believe we'll have any issues with that. So first of all, I'm going to go ahead and put potting soil in this tray. You wouldn't have to have a tray quite this deep, but I want to let a good root system develop before I pick them. As I've talked about in past videos, I like to let the true leaves develop before I actually transplant these into little pots. And so I want to give these trees a chance to have a good root system, grow for several weeks before I actually transplant them. So I'm going to give this a decent amount of depth. Okay, I got let's just say 4 inches of soil roughly there. I'm now just going to take these Japanese maple seeds from this jar, sprinkle this over the top, remove the leaves, those aren't necessary, and just somewhat evenly. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect here, but just kind of spread those along. And we can come back and space them out a little bit better here in a minute. All right, so I've got those spaced out, just real roughly here. Once again, I'm not doing anything fancy. I'm just letting it take care of itself like if they fell from a tree. And then I'm just going to lightly cover these. So from here, I'll literally just leave this somewhere, either on this bench or somewhere else in this area, and let it get rained upon, let it get, if we get snow, let it get snowed upon, and let it naturally go through that winter process. And then this coming spring, I actually should see a decent amount of these sprout, and we'll give you an update then. But this is an easy process, and once again, if you just have some kind of tray and you have access to seeds, just let the natural winter process take care of this for you. And then you can transplant these little seedlings that'll grow in this box from here to little 4-inch pots. Here's, of course, a bunch of seedlings in 4-inch pots that were transplanted, a lot of these this spring, earlier this year. And you can see a lot of beautiful red colors, and it's fun to grow these from seed. Of course, as I've talked about in past videos, I really love to grow Japanese maple trees from seed because you get a lot of variation and you get different colors, you get different leaf shapes, and a lot of unique characteristics depending on the parents of that particular plant. It's also really handy if you want to get into grafting your own Japanese maple trees. You, of course, have to have some kind of understock, root understock, and you can grow that yourself with the seedlings. You can take the ones that aren't quite as remarkable, that are just kind of normal color or nothing unique about them, and you can graft onto that understock. So I hope you'll give this a try, and I hope that you will try this process where you are. If you have a friend with a Japanese maple tree and they'll let you gather seeds from their tree, do that. You might find a neighbor that allows you to do this, or if you have Japanese maple trees in your yard, look for these seeds and give this process a try. I do want to say, if you're not yet subscribed, please consider subscribing, because I plan to have a lot more Japanese maple content coming in the coming months, and especially as we move into spring. Until next time, thank you so much.